Pregame.com.
Thursday night TNT NBA action. We've been waiting for this one. It is the LA Lakers traveling to the Miami Heat. We've got Kobe, we've got LeBron, we got Dwayne Wade, we got stars everywhere. What do you like, Brian?
I'm from Cleveland, so I'm not sure if there's any stars out there. Dwayne Wade's maybe a star, but he may not play in this game. So, but anyway, I'm gonna take Miami to win this game by 8. Both teams were very well rested, which we haven't found very much so far this season. Lakers just 1-4 against the spread on the road this year. In the 3 games they've been a road dog. They've lost all those games by 8 points or more. They played the last 3 times they played Miami. They've lost all those games straight up and against the spread. Miami back home now. We had to be concerned in this game about the line because of the Dwayne Wade factor. He may come back in this game and blow this whole thing out of proportion. All of a sudden, they're an 8.5-point favorite, and then what do? I'm assuming he's not going to play. They're playing it day by day. It's a long season. Sure, they want him to come back and play. I just don't think he's going to be back in the lineup. And to be honest with you, I feel like VR. I'll be honest with you.
Truth be told.
Actually, Miami's played better when one of those guys has been out of the lineup. They're still having problems with both of them in there, especially from LeBron, because he's delegating all the authority to Wade, and he's not playing very well. So I think if you want to play Miami in this game, I don't want Wade to play. I think it's better in the case for Wade to sit the bench because we get extra point value because of that. When Miami's played and both teams have had rest, 5 of the 7 games have gone over. In fact, when they've been a home favorite, 3 of the 4 games have gone over. The only one they didn't was by 2 points. Miami wants to push the pace at home. The Lakers, as we saw, was it Monday?
Yes.
73-70.
73-70.
They don't want to push the pace, and that's because of their coach. I mean, their coach, being the former Cleveland coach, he knows exactly what he wants to do. He wants to slow the pace in these games. And it'll be interesting that he's going up against LeBron. And part of the talk when LeBron was leaving Cleveland was the reason why he was fired is because LeBron didn't want him there. So it's going to be kind of interesting, the LeBron aspect against the old coach aspect in this game. But it's a situation where the Lakers, I just don't think they match up that well with Miami. Miami being at home, being able to push the pace, I think is good for them. And as long as Wade doesn't come back and we get a bad spread number, I'll like Miami to win this game.
I've got to ask you the question I asked you just before we were on the air, so we'll do it for the listeners. As a longtime Cleveland native and still a Cleveland sports fan, how pissed are you at LeBron?
I'm not mad that he left. I can't blame a guy from leaving. No, nothing against my fellow Cleveland fans to leave Cleveland to go to Miami. I'm not going to stay here and do videos with you if I got a chance to move to Miami. Nothing personal.
Well, I take offense to that.
That's because I'm the star of the show. But in truth, I have no problem with him leaving. The problem I had was the way he did it. You don't have a big televised situation and then
shit on your hometown.
F you Cleveland.
Yeah.
That's what really upset me, and that upset most of the fans because I think a lot of the fans thought that he would leave.
Being a Pittsburgh person, I despise Cleveland sports except basketball. You were my adopted son because I didn't have an NBA team in Pittsburgh, and me and my nephew used to take numerous trips to Cleveland. I had my routine. Would go to Cleveland the night before for a game, go to the Winking Lizard across from the arena. It was you know where it is.
Good chicken wings.
How did you know what I was eating?
Well, if it was on the menu, you were eating.
But go to the end because we didn't have and plus to see a superstar, and I was angry with the show and the decision and all that. It just was it was wrong to do to a city that he was a god there. Let's face it. And to do that. And I agree with you. Coach Brown, he got the scapegoat. Try to fire him. Do whatever you can do to keep LeBron, and it still didn't work. So.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting Coach Brown one time. Very nice guy. He took his time to meet nobodies like myself and the rest of the group we were with, and I didn't like the way he coached LeBron. LeBron needed to be out in the court, and I think this year the Heat are going to have some success with that, because being able to run, you get the best finisher in the NBA, and they were kind of tying them up. But in retrospect, and like I said, at the time I didn't agree, but in retrospect, when you saw what happened last year after LeBron left, Cleveland just didn't have the other talent to be able to score points, so he was kind of confined. And so I'm giving him a lot of credit for as good as not only LeBron did in Cleveland, but as well as Brown did there also. So, but I'm long past that now. It's gone. We now have a quality team in Cleveland, and Cleveland going into this taping 6-6 on the season, and yet they have not played a team that has had the no rest when they've played them. That's pretty impressive, considering this season we got as a handicapper, looking at the schedules, you have to see, okay, who's rested, who's playing 4 and 5. Everybody Cleveland's played has all had a day off before playing Cleveland, and they're still 6-6 straight up. So, you guys looking for futures, if you can get bet on Cleveland to make the playoffs, I think that's a pretty good bet right now.
Well, you're definitely going to get some odds with that. Going to this game, one thing that's developing with the Lakers now, it didn't in the last game because we talked about it, that they scored only 73 points and Kobe only had 14, I think, in the game. But prior to the 4 games prior to that, Kobe was on one of those runs where he went off and was scoring 40 points a game. Me personally, when Kobe does that, I think the Lakers are a worse team.
I agree.
When Kobe's doing all of the scoring, the team becomes so reliant on him. You've got nobody else stepping up in the scorer's role. You need balance. And the flip side to it, I think Kobe on the other end of the floor suffers on the defensive end because he's spending so much energy carrying the team offensively that he can't play at the same level defensively. And now you're playing a team like Miami that's got a lot more scoring options. I like Miami in this game. I like the situation. This will be the second game back home for Miami. And I've talked about it on numerous podcasts before. I don't like a team that was on a long road trip that first game they return home. I just think it's a situation where, as much as we want to put these guys up on a pedestal, that they're athletes and that they have just superstar lives, at the end of the day, they're human beings like me and you. And I don't know about you, but, if you've been gone for a couple days and you come home, the wife's got some stuff to go over with you, or saying we need this. And these guys are the same way. They got families, they've got kids, they've been gone. It's a disruption when they first come back home. So I think they don't play their best game the first game back home off a road trip. But then the second game, you're back into a normal routine, and that's what you're going to have here. So depending on what happens, and again, we're taping on Tuesday night, so Miami's playing tonight against San Antonio. If Miami has a sluggish game, just wins by a point or two or something, we're going to get some extra line value on Thursday night for this game. I have the line at 6 on this game. I have Miami favored by 6. What number did you have?
I used Miami 5, but keep in mind, we don't know the Wade situation, and normally we're putting out a play a day in advance, which is bad enough. This game is in 2 days in advance.
And the game being played.
And the game is being played. So my projection is by 8. If Miami comes out as a 6.5 point favorite in this game, ignore everything I have said because I won't be on this game at that point. You have to look at line value. I always use the term, there's a pendulum. One side is good, the other side is good. It all depends on what the number is. You're really not betting teams and games, you're betting numbers. Guys who do this for a living are looking at certain numbers. If this, you got your number ready, if this line comes out at this number, you bet it. If it doesn't, then you wait. And if it doesn't come, you don't play it. There's no reason to force plays. There's plenty of action. There's a lot of college games coming up. The NBA's playing every day. We still got a couple, 2, 3 football games. I'm not really interested in them, but I guess they'll be on TV, so somebody probably cares. But I joke, but we may actually do a video about some ways to approach these playoff games, and I think that's where the real value is at this point.
Well, I agree with you with the Miami side. I actually have Miami winning by a little bit more. I have Miami winning by 11, so it would have to be a real big adjustment to move me off the game. or something that happens tonight. If Miami would win in a blowout, and I know you say, well, that should be better. It's not going to make me feel as good.
Well, it depends on how many minutes the starters get. I mean, if they have a 30-point lead at the half, that's good. If they pull away in the second half with the starters in the game, I don't think that's good.
Right. So there you have it for us. We both agree with Miami. Brian giving a little more caution. He has them winning by 8. He doesn't want to lay 6.5 in the game, so he's looking for a number of 6 or less in the game. I have Miami as well. I've got a little bigger margin on the game, so I probably would lay the 6.5 in this game. I'd start worrying if it got to 7 with the Lakers, and especially if the Lakers are able to play another slow down type game. That's the thing that is a handicapper. Just ask you a general question. When you have a team like the Lakers that was going off for 3 or 4 games, scoring a lot of points, and then all of a sudden you have one game that's a total reversal. Do is that just you treat that one game as a fluke, or now is this now going to be a pattern the other way? When it's such an extreme.
Yeah, it's a matchup situation. They play. The Lakers are huge up front. When they play teams that have no up front, they can basically dictate whatever pace they want, and they're able, playing at home, they're more willing to dictate a faster pace because they know every time they go down, they can throw the ball to one of the bigger guys and get underneath. And we talked about with Kobe on a scoring streak like that. It's not going to happen all the time. And so he had one bad game. They didn't score a lot of points, and Dallas is playing some pretty good defense lately.
Yeah, and Kobe, LeBron. They won't never say it publicly, but that whenever they play one of the superstars of the league, love to outdo the other guy.
I used to bet a lot of, and I still do, I bet a lot of props. And when LeBron would play Dwight Howard, he'd play Kobe Bryant, or even Chris Paul, one of his guys that are somewhat buddies, Dwayne Wade, his numbers would go up those games. So I would just bet more assists, more points, more rebounds every time. And as opposed to having to bet the game, you have a little bit better advantage betting those props, and it's worked out really well.
All right, well, there you have it. He's Brian Leonard. I'm Marco D'Angelo. Those are our videos for Wednesday and Thursday of this week. Later in the week, Scott Spreitzer will be in, Vegas Runner, and they'll be looking at some games for Friday and Saturday videos. And, of course, later in the week, we're also going to have you said there's some NFL games playing football?
I heard a rumor.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess
I know the Steelers aren't in it.
Thanks. And when was the last time Cleveland was in there?
I'm 50 years old. I've never seen a championship from anything from Cleveland. So.
All right, so you should be quiet. He's Brian Leonard. I'm Marco D'Angelo, home of the city with all those, trophies,
For the murder capital trophy? Or was that Detroit? Johnny would know about that.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back later. Brian and myself are going to be back at the end of the week. We'll have those games on the weekend and talk about that football game for Sunday. Thanks for watching. I'm Marco D'Angelo. Check out all of our videos at pregame.tv. And, of course, always go to the forums and check out pregamevideos.com. We'll be talking about all the games all weekend long. Thanks for watching.